They went after our 5,000 students at our event there of high school and college kids. And look, I get attacked all the time. People say false things. I'm a public figure. But when you go after 16 and 17-year-olds that travel from across the country that then have to live for the rest of their life with a shadow over them because someone at ABC says that they might be linked to neo-Nazis. But look, what did it take for us to get to the point of an apology? We had to threaten a lawsuit, Jesse. And by the way,
elitism and her complete out of touch nature with respect to the rest of the world. Sunny Hostin goes on The View and decides now would be a great time to dump all over the so-called uneducated.
What we did not have is white women who voted about 52%, right, for Donald Trump. Uneducated white women, is my understanding. You have Latino men, actually, voting more for him. And you have, and black men was not the story. We're not the story here because they voted almost 80% for the vice president.
Right. Just because you didn't go to college doesn't mean you're stupid, and it doesn't mean that you don't have wisdom. You can go to college and get a bunch of irrelevant facts about
between right and left authoritarianism, and now people don't recognize that if you just stopped looking at it in terms of red and blue, look at the actions, whether it's war, suppression of free speech, pharmacological interventions that are mandatory, whatever it is, that used to all be associated with the authoritative right, the authoritarian right, and now those things are being embraced by the left. And I just think it's just an ideology thing. And I think we get confused and we think we're on the right side. We're on the right side. And if it's our side that's saying this, for sure that's the right thing to do. And no one's critically thinking about this.
Joe Rogan is the gateway drug for young men that thought they were Democrats to become MAGA. Joe Rogan is the bridge. And
Sunny Hostin just had an emotional crash so complete, it was like someone cut the Wi-Fi during a live stream. Total signal loss. What caused the meltdown? A verbal tag team assault courtesy of Charlie Kirk, Joe Rogan, and a sprinkle of Elon Musk that left Sunny's ego on life support. Tears? Check. Confusion? Oh yeah, a full-on made-for-TV unraveling. This takedown was so savage, it could have used a trigger warning, and the teleprompter probably needed a therapist after. So what exactly triggered the spiral? Let's rewind. Sunny was cruising through another week of self-satisfied sound bites and daytime applause when reality decided to kick in the studio door. Politically, she got a data smackdown from Charlie Kirk, a caffeinated debater armed with more stats than a Bloomberg terminal. Culturally, Joe Rogan, in between talk of elk, meat, and aliens, took a flamethrower to her brand. And let's not forget Elon tossing in a few social media grenades just for sport. Let's start with the first blow. Charlie Kirk's numbers. It's one thing to spar with talking points. It's another when someone dissects your whole worldview with cold, hard data. Kirk didn't even have to say her name. He just unpacked all the well-worn, elite media narratives, the voter suppression fear-mongering, the claim that conservatives hate minorities, the doomsday predictions about democracy. Then he brought the receipts, real stats showing minority voters shifting right. Not because they've been brainwashed, but because they're tired of being lectured by millionaires who haven't bought their own groceries since 2003. Charlie kept pressing. He torched the hypocrisy of media elites crying oppression from penthouses while sipping $10 lattes. Sunny, who lives in that glass tower of elite punditry, suddenly looked like the face of the disconnect, where a big paycheck and a permanent seat at the table somehow translate into moral authority. Kirk pointed out that when your biggest struggle is an oat milk shortage, maybe you shouldn't be the voice of the people. But the real sting? It wasn't personal. It wasn't an attack on Sunny's character or intellect. It was a scalpel to her credibility. And for someone whose whole brand depends on being taken seriously, that cut deep. But before the dust could settle, round two hit. And this time, it was Joe Rogan. Joe didn't bring charts. He brought blunt force reality. While Charlie broke down Sunny's talking points, Joe went after the entire ecosystem she thrives in. Glossy talk shows masquerading as news platforms where tough questions go to die and virtue signals are sold like product placements. With his signature laid-back delivery, Rogan called out the absurdity of it all. The fake moral authority, the groupthink, the performative concern. He didn't need to mention her by name either. That's the brilliance of Joe's critique. It lands like a missile in a crowded room, and everyone scrambles to check if they were the target. He mocked the entire genre Sonny represents. The over-polished, hyper-scripted daytime panels pretending to speak for America, while living in a media bubble so insulated it might as well be outer space. Joe contrasted that with the real conversations he has. Gritty, raw, sometimes awkward chats with people who've actually lived through hard times. People who've faced failure, risked something, built something, or lost something. The kind of voices that never get invited to The View because they don't come with curated hashtags and publicists. That contrast hit like a truck. Sonny's brand, built on controlled studio lighting and applause buttons, suddenly looked hollow. While Charlie used precision to expose the political detachment, Joe used humor to expose the absurdity. Together, they dismantled the illusion that Sonny's commentary represents anyone beyond the coastal bubble of her studio. This wasn't just a critique, it was a gut check, a reality slap to a media personality who spent years insulated from critique, basking in the glow of audience affirmation. And just like that, Sonny went from authoritative host to a caricature, frozen on screen like a meme in motion, exposed by two very different men using two very different weapons. And honestly, it wasn't even close. Now here's where things got strangely poetic. Two completely different men, different worlds, different tones, somehow synchronized like a perfect storm nobody saw coming. Charlie Kirk and Joe Rogan didn't plan it. They didn't tag team on purpose. But what they delivered was a cultural and ideological takedown of epic proportions. Kirk brought the receipts, Rogan brought the roast. Together, they didn't just poke holes in Sonny Hostin's media bubble, they torched it, flipped the table, and walked away like action heroes in slow motion. No mic drop needed. Then naturally came the internet. Oh yes, the internet did what the internet does best, explode into pettiness, brilliance, and viral chaos. When a high-profile TV pundit gets taken down from two directions, one intellectual, the other cultural, the memes write themselves. YouTubers started staging reenactments. TikTok duets transformed each clip into performance art. Twitter threads lined up Charlie's stats next to Rogan's sarcasm like a digital tag team of truth bombs. And Sonny? Radio silence. Because what do you say when two people dissect you so thoroughly without even using your name? This wasn't a spat. It wasn't even a debate. It was a 1-2 reality check, backed by evidence and wrapped in mockery. And worst of all for her defenders, there was nothing shallow to grab onto. The takedowns weren't about her voice, her appearance, or her gender. They targeted the hollow core of a media persona built on studio applause and network righteousness. You could almost hear the air deflate around the set of The View. Meanwhile, Charlie Kirk's monologue is being clipped for classroom debate exercises. Literally. Teachers are using it to show how to break down bad arguments with calm precision. And Joe Rogan? His podcast segment is climbing charts again, making Spotify execs foam at the mouth with glee. Sonny's trending all right, but not in the celebratory way. More in the can we change the topic way. It's rare for political analysis and cultural instinct to align so flawlessly. Rarer still when the bullseye is hit without even pulling the trigger on a direct attack. Charlie and Joe didn't crush Sonny Hostin by insulting her. They crushed the echo chamber she operates in, the world she symbolizes, the place where virtue signaling passes as insight and where audience approval substitutes for actual engagement. What they exposed wasn't just her, it was the machinery behind her. And the way they did it? Beautiful in its contrast. Charlie rolled in like a debate club champion, sharp suit, data in hand, quoting policy like scripture. Not a single punch thrown, yet every word hit its mark. He didn't rant or rage. He calmly peeled back the layers of TV pundit hypocrisy, revealing the performative outrage, the elitist blindness, and the scripted moral grandstanding. Then, in walks Joe Rogan. No charts, no PowerPoint. Just a t-shirt, a mic, and a vibe. He didn't need policy papers. He brought the cultural eye roll. He didn't come to play by the rules. He came to laugh at the rules. Where Kirk cut with logic, Rogan punched with tone. One was a scalpel, the other a sledgehammer. Same target, different weapons, and both devastating. Rogan didn't come for Sonny the person. He came for the whole genre. The cable news theater that pretends it's journalism while running on a script approved by publicists. He mocked the ridiculousness of it all. The artificial gravitas, the pre-packaged moral outrage, the way these media elites pretend to represent the people while living in a world untouched by real struggle. The punch landed not in anger, but in hilarity. And that's the part that stings the most. You can argue facts, but you can't argue a joke that hits too close to home. There's no rebuttal for ridicule when the punchline is painfully true. And the craziest part, it wasn't even coordinated. This wasn't a joint effort. It was a cosmic coincidence. Logic and mockery just happened to collide at the same time. And Sonny Hostin was standing right in the middle of the impact zone. A cultural and political convergence so precise, it felt scripted by the universe. Charlie Kirk's followers, they were already there. Policy wonks, conservative students, folks tired of being talked down to. Joe Rogan's fans, the skeptics, the nonconformists, the everyday people tired of elitist media nonsense. Different groups, different backgrounds, same reaction, enough already. And so, Sonny didn't just get challenged, she got exposed. The protective bubble around her media persona, gone. Not because anyone shouted, but because two guys, one with charts and one with chuckles, showed the world that the emperor has no clue what a grocery bill costs. She wasn't silenced, she wasn't canceled, she was revealed. Her carefully constructed media identity melted under the weight of truth, logic, and laughter. And now every meme, every clip, every replayed soundbite is a reminder that the curtain's been pulled back and there's no putting it back in place. She'll return to the view. She'll sip the coffee. She'll read the cue cards. But something's changed and the audience can feel it. The illusion cracked. And behind that studio smile, the internet knows exactly what just happened. A perfect storm of clarity and comedy destroyed the stage. So while Sonny may keep pretending it's business as usual, we'll be over here rewatching those clips for the 12th time, still laughing, because when reality finally hits, it doesn't whisper. It hits like Charlie Kirk and Joe Rogan in stereo.